Yo, welcome back to another video. Now, we have finally gotten both of the familiars, so I will be making a video going over both of these familiars that we currently have in the game. There are 3 familiars with this update, but one of them is locked behind time, which we will be getting in 4 days. That is the Gojo familiar that buffs him. I'll be going over that familiar when that familiar is available to players to be able to use. But for now, we have 2 new familiars that we will be checking out. So the first familiar that we will be checking out is Nose. Nose is obtained from the story stages at a 10% rate, which is pretty good, honestly. Pretty decent familiar too. So let's go straight into checking out his passives. His first passive is Light in the Dark. Anytime this unit attacks, stun this unit for 2 seconds. If this unit is stunned, increases damage by 33.4% for the duration of the stun plus 5 seconds. Now this can roll between 0 and 40% damage, and the second passive Nose can either be unbound, cosmic, or nature damage, and can roll between 2 and 5% damage. Overall, pretty decent familiar. Now, you do get stunned every single time the unit does attack, but this does synergize with 2 units perfectly. This is Guts, and this is also Kenpachi. Outside of that, I don't really know who else it can be good on. I will need to test it further, but for now, those are the 2 standout units with this familiar alone. Checking out the Corruption 3 example that I have, we have an 80% roll, which is 32% of the maximum, and then from there, that is being increased by a 30% Corruption 3, so this gives us a 41.6% roll all the way up to a range of 60% from a 40% roll being increased by a 50% Corruption 3. This is a pretty decent range to get. If you get anything between this, it is a pretty good familiar to have. So yeah, like I said, this is a perfect familiar to be using alongside Guts because of his second passive, and then also Kenpachi because of his second passive too. Going on to our next familiar, I think this is an insane familiar that we have in the game. It is Silly Fairy. Very cool looking model. It is very nicely animated as well compared to some of the familiar models that we've been getting in game. It is a very nice model indeed. How we obtain this familiar is from the Legend stages. From Act 1 to 3, it is a 1% chance to drop, and then from Act 4 itself, it is a 5% chance to drop. Going over this familiar's passives, the first passive is a Whimsical Being. For every placement of this unit placed, decreases upgrade cost by 4.8%. Now this can roll between 0 and 5% upgrade cost decrease. And the second passive, Fantastic Spirit, can either be Curse, Cosmic, or Nature Element, and can roll between 2 and 5% damage. This is an insane familiar, and it gets even crazier. Let's quickly go over the Corruption 3 example, and then I will talk about this familiar more. So my Corruption 3 example that I have, the 80% max roll is a 4%. If you were to increase it by 30% of the Corruption 3, that gives us a 5.2%, all the way up to a 7.5% increased corruption, which is really insane. 7.5% increased cost reduction on a placement. Let's say we have this on a Speedwagon. The first placement is being decreased by 7.5%, but then when you place to your next 2, all of the Speedwagons are going to be cost decreased by 22.5% cost, which is absolutely cracked. It is an amazing familiar. Any sort of units that you want placements on, this is a perfect familiar. Alright, so as an example, I have placed down one of my Speedwagons. He does have my familiar with a 4.8% cost reduction on him. So right now it is 7.6k to max upgrade him, and then a normal one without a familiar is 8.4k. But the thing is, as you can see, it is 999 to upgrade him. If I place down a second one, now it is 949, and this includes previously placed one as well. So that means all 3 placed down. It is 898 to max upgrade, or to upgrade the first time. So the max upgrade is 7.2k, which is a lot lower than the original being 8.4k to max upgrade one without this familiar, but with this familiar it goes to 7.2k. So we're saving 1,200, which is like overall not the craziest amount, but it does make getting these upgrades ever so slightly sooner with the early waves, meaning that we can eventually earn more money overall, which is a very good familiar for farms. Outside of farms, it is actually very good for just any sort of unit that you want multiple placements of, because overall just makes them a lot cheaper. But yeah, with that being said, that is pretty much this familiar video done. Really short, because honestly these are pretty simple familiars. They are pretty straightforward, so yeah, pretty nice. Anyway, with that being said, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I appreciate it if you have watched this far through the video. See ya.